Here's something nobody tells you about love. The person who cares less has all the power. Sounds cruel, doesn't it? But your brain is wired exactly like a slot machine, and the people you can't stop thinking about, they're pulling your lever at just the right intervals. Tonight, I'm going to reveal the psychological phenomenon that makes someone unable to get you out of their head. This isn't about playing games. It's about understanding the dark truth of how human desire actually works. And once you see it, you'll never look at relationships the same way again. Let me ask you something painfully honest. Why do you still think about that person who was inconsistent with you? The one who texted you back sometimes but not always? Who was amazing one week and distant the next? Meanwhile, that person who was always available, always kind, always there, you probably took them for granted. This isn't because you're broken or shallow. It's because of a psychological principle called intermittent reinforcement. And it's the same mechanism that creates gambling addicts. Your brain is being hijacked, and you don't even know it. In the 1950s, psychologist D.F. Skinner discovered something terrifying about behavior. He put pigeons in boxes and gave them food rewards at different intervals. The pigeons who got food every time they pecked, they were motivated, but predictable. But the pigeons who got food randomly, sometimes yes, sometimes no, they became obsessed. They couldn't stop pecking, even when exhausted. They had been conditioned to chase an unpredictable reward. Now here's the disturbing part. Humans respond to intermittent reinforcement even more powerfully than pigeons, especially in love. Think about a slot machine for a moment. If it paid out every single time you pulled the lever, you'd get bored quickly. If it never paid out, you'd walk away immediately. But because it pays out unpredictably, sometimes big, sometimes small, sometimes not at all, people sit there for hours, empty bank accounts, completely hooked. The uncertainty creates a dopamine loop in your brain that's more addictive than the reward itself. This is why casinos are billion-dollar industries. And this exact mechanism is why you can't stop thinking about people who are inconsistent with you. Here's where it gets dark. When someone is consistently good to you, your brain categorizes them as safe and predictable. The dopamine response flattens. You stop wondering, stop chasing, stop obsessing. But when someone gives you attention sporadically, amazing connection one day, cold the next, your brain enters hunting mode. Each moment of warmth becomes a jackpot. Each moment of distance becomes withdrawal. You're not in love, you're in a dopamine addiction cycle. And the cruelest part? The person doesn't even have to be doing it intentionally. Natural inconsistency is enough to hook you. Now, before you think this is about manipulation, let me be clear. Understanding this principle is about awareness, not exploitation. Because here's the truth. You've probably been unknowingly destroying attraction by being too consistent, too available, too predictable. You thought being a good person meant always responding, always being there, always being warm. But you accidentally removed all the mystery, all the chase, all the psychological tension that makes attraction electric. The most magnetic people aren't perfect. They're variable, not fake, not game playing, but genuinely unpredictable in ways that keep others curious. Here's how intermittent reinforcement shows up in modern dating. The person who takes hours or days to text back randomly. The one who's incredibly warm in person but goes silent for weeks. The situationship that feels perfect when you're together but undefined when you're apart. These patterns create what psychologists call anxious attachment in real time. Your brain becomes hypervigilant, constantly scanning for signs of their interest. Every text back feels like winning the lottery. Every silence feels like withdrawal. You're experiencing the same neurochemical patterns as someone sitting at a slot machine at 3 a.m., convinced the next pull will be the big win. But here's the sophisticated part that most people miss. Strategic unpredictability isn't the same as being an inconsistent jerk. It's about maintaining your own full life so that you're genuinely not always available. It's about having boundaries that make your time actually valuable. It's about not performing consistency as proof of your affection. When you have genuine passions, real friendships, important work, and self-respect, you become naturally variable. You're warm when you're present, but you're not always present. This isn't a tactic. It's the natural result of being a whole person who doesn't revolve around someone else's validation. The neuroscience behind this is fascinating and dark. When you receive unpredictable rewards, your brain releases dopamine not just during the reward, but in anticipation of it. This means the maybe is more powerful than the yes. The wondering creates more neural activation than the knowing. This is why the early stages of dating feel so intoxicating. Everything is uncertain. Will they text? Do they like me? What does this mean? Your brain is flooded with dopamine from pure anticipation. But when things become certain and stable, the chemical rush fades. Not because love is gone, but because the unpredictability is gone. Now here's the ethical question. Should you use this knowledge? My answer is nuanced. You should never deliberately mess with someone's emotions for power. That's manipulation, and it creates toxic relationship patterns. But you absolutely should stop over-functioning in relationships. Stop being available 24/7. Stop dropping everything to prove your interest. Stop texting back immediately every time. Not as a game, but because your time and energy actually matter. When you respect your own schedule, your own needs, your own life, you naturally create the psychological space that makes attraction thrive. You become the person who has something going on, not the person desperately waiting by the phone. Here's a practical example. Imagine two people are interested in you. Person A texts you good morning every day, responds within minutes, always makes plans around your schedule, constantly reinforces their interest. Person B is genuinely interested but has a full life. They text when they think of you, but not on a schedule. They're warm but not desperate. They make plans but also have their own. Who occupies more mental real estate? Be honest. It's person B. Not because they're playing games, but because their inconsistency creates space for you to wonder, to chase, to invest emotionally. Person A's consistency, while kind, removes all psychological tension. There's nothing to wonder about, nothing to win. The dark truth about intermittent reinforcement is that it can keep people trapped in terrible relationships. When someone is occasionally amazing but mostly unavailable or even cruel, the rare moments of warmth become so powerful that they override all the bad experiences. This is how toxic relationships survive. The unpredictable positive reinforcement is literally more addictive than consistent love. Your brain remembers the highs and keeps chasing them, minimizing the lows. This is why people say, but when it's good, it's so good about relationships that are clearly destroying them. They're not weak, they're experiencing a scientifically predictable addiction pattern. Breaking free requires recognizing the pattern and consciously choosing consistent, healthy love, even though it feels less exciting. So what's the takeaway? Become someone whose presence is valuable because your absence is real. Don't manufacture distance as a tactic, but don't abandon your life to prove your interest. Maintain your passions, your friendships, your goals, your boundaries. Be genuinely warm and present when you're with someone, but don't be always available. Let there be rhythm, connection and space, warmth and independence, presence and mystery. This isn't about control or manipulation. It's about being a whole person who adds someone to their life rather than making someone their whole life. That natural variability, that authentic unpredictability of a person with depth and dimension, that's what creates lasting, magnetic attraction. That's the psychology of desire. And now that you understand it, you hold the lever to your own slot machine. Use it wisely.